Nero, the Juggernaut, a proud warrior of the Juggernaut tradition, banished from his island home for defying his own leader, a move that would save his life.
I was told not to only slash everyone, but everyone was bait. I was told not to buy a battle fury, but I couldn't wait.
For Nero's home would sink beneath the waves, and his banishment would ensure that he was the last of the Juggernaut tradition, battling alongside his allies to restore his honor and carry on the Juggernaut tradition.
To only slash, I've been bouncing and bouncing and bouncing and bouncing around your ass. Only slash, built on agility.
This is Nero's tale, the tale of the last Juggernaut warrior.
Only slash,
Fighting with his allies, seeking new victories, and of course, the honor that should be bestowed upon a Juggernaut warrior.
This is Roland from Defense of the Patients, a Dota 2 podcast. We'd like to thank you for listening, and we hope you're enjoying our content. If you are, tell a friend. Find .p on defenseofthepatients.com or go to iTunes to download the show and leave a comment. We will read the best on the show. Also, you can go to Facebook and give us a like. Sincerely, from everybody here on the show, thank you for listening to .p.
Hey everybody, welcome to a Thanksgiving episode of Defense of the Patients, a Dota 2 podcast. I'm your host, Cyphus, sitting here with co-turkey Roland.
My turkey host, I was hoping you'd say.
Yeah.
Roland, yeah, hi everybody.
So this episode is action-packed. We have, and I feel like the intro, now that I think about it, might
Kinda
actually,
adds to the action-packedness.
Feels appropriate.
We made a Juggernaut song.
Yeah,
know?
that was fun.
It felt appropriate to put in 100% auto-tune.
No.
You
Sure,
know?
yeah.
It did.
And necessary.
I don't know why.
So beyond that, we've got Feedernoob coming on to do dressing.p.
Yeah.
She's got, this time, Dragon Knight. Maybe we should have made a Dragon Knight song, really, if we were thinking about it properly.
Yeah, I just kicked your mic, my bad.
That's all right.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too right when we finished. Was like, oh, fuck, maybe we should have made a Dragon Knight set. Seeing as the theme of today's episode is kind of around Dragon Knight.
Right, because not only does Feeder dress up Roland's Dragon Knight, but we have at Noxville ZA, Ben Knox from Standard Deviant Stats House for Ask a Deviant.
Awesome. We recorded the Ask a Deviant section before, and we recorded the interview before, and obviously the song. So basically, we're just kind of like hosts today, just introducing content. We got to talk with two awesome people in the community. We've had Feedernoob on a bunch of times now, and we will have her on a bunch more. But Knox was awesome. It was great to have him on. He lives in South Africa. He's a software engineer, I believe he said.
He's a passionate stats man.
And he really puts a lot of intriguing to me, his thought process in how he goes out and grabs stats.
Yeah, after in the bottom of the show, after everybody's heard it, I want to talk about his analogy a little bit.
Sure.
So yeah, stay tuned for that. It's good stuff.
Yeah, we will.
So we should probably kick this off because we have so much stuff to show you guys, or so many segments to present to you. We should kick off State of Affairs right away.
Yeah, I think we can talk about our State of Affairs. We've been kicking ass. So I'm going to give like a
nope.
twin State of Affairs.
I'm going to go ahead real quick and say, if you want to find us, defenseofthepatients.com. At
Sure.
.p_show,
Sure.
defenseofthepatients@gmail.com.
Sure.
Search Defense of the Patients
Sure.
on Facebook, or find us on iTunes.
Sure. Okay, so I want to give kind of like a dual State of Affairs,
Okay.
as in like, and then we'll give our own. Cyphus and I have been kicking ass, okay?
We have,
And
yeah.
I've been playing through my All Hero, and it's been fucking awesome. We are stomping trash.
We're
played-
rotating positions like never before.
Yes, and we're starting to communicate and starting to set things up better than we ever have. Having two of us on a team, I feel like we're starting to throw the game, just the two of us. Like, our team can do semi-poorly, and we're able to pick up the slack, is what I mean by that.
Yeah.
We're about to hit 2K, both of us. I mean, we're although we're going to give our individual stats,
Yeah.
it's not going to show 2K.
No.
We're on the up and up, dude.
Yeah.
I'm 20% done with that All Hero. I'm going to get 100% done with it. There's not a single hero that scares me.
After you make your run, I'll make my run.
Visage, I started with Visage, and I've already passed Invoker.
Okay.
I've passed Elder Titan.
We got to address
I've
this.
passed Magnus.
You're playing it in ranked, which
Yeah, I am.
is like the worst damn thing in the world.
Why?
Well, it's just
understand.
tough. It's
That's
just
not
tough.
compute.
It's tough being the person who's playing with you.
Well, we win. It's tough being
We
the
have
person
been
that's
winning,
Ancient
but it's
Age,
because
one try. Wraith King, one try. Timbersaw, one try.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
of those were one try, ripping the team to shreds.
It's tough because it's forced me, because a couple of your all heroes along the way have been supports, and of course I'm most comfortable playing support.
Sure. I played a great support today, though, with that Ancient Apparition.
Yeah.
There
that
was
was awesome.
always wards
Yeah.
up. There was always sentries in my inventory. I was always
Yeah,
hitting
you were on
bitches
top
with
of
my
it.
ult.
I
will play Ancient Apparition.
Yeah,
again.
I was gonna say I want to give him a try now too after
He
watching
is so-
your run with him.
It's basically like timing. It's like, you know, that like little spinny game in an arcade where if you get it right in the middle, it'll give you a shitload of tickets. And it's like just the one that you just want to get a shitload of tickets and get that prize. You just go and get the spinny thing and get it in the middle. It's called like Stop It. That's kind of how like Ancient Apparitions ult works. Is you send that bitch off in a direction, okay? That ice meteoroid, and you just tell it when to stop, and then it stops, and then another one flies right behind it and explodes. Allows them to no regeneration. They get no regeneration while they're hit with this. They're constantly ticking down damage, and they're slowed. So I was hitting like 4 out of 5 on that team. And also how it works, the bigger radius for distance. So the further I am away, the bigger radius it will be. So if I try and hit somebody with it right next to me, the radius of impact is going to be really, really small. If I launch it from fountain to fountain, it's going to be at its
How
obvious
often can you do
longest.
it?
Like every 30 seconds.
That's not bad.
No, and when you get in ags, it doesn't lower duration, but it just makes that thing so much more effective. Like I was hitting that Viper that we were playing against at half health with that thing, and just like, wow, 2 minutes later he died. Like that's how it felt. Like it was just like, wow, he died. I just got a kill. Like I was like 12-10 that game.
Yeah. No, that was a blast.
It
that
was
game.
what you were playing
Wraith King, yeah.
and you just stomped. We
Yeah,
both
yeah,
stomped.
yeah. I picked up the
was really
I
fun.
picked up the Desolator. I know it was
You went
foolish.
Desolator.
I went with the Desolator.
Instead of the armlet. The armlet's you know that last game we played? We just played a game we lost. I'm on my all hero of oh my god.
Troll Warlord.
Troll Warlord. Okay, yeah, that's right. Which I played Troll plenty of times. And I wanted him to go mid. We had some guy random Invoker and go mid as Invoker and feed.
Right after you were like, "Hey, I don't mind running Troll mid if you think that might be if you think that might be a problem." Since you random him,
dude, come on.
yeah, he's like, relax. And
Yeah,
then he
I
fed,
said
and-
relax.
yeah,
laugh out
relax.
loud.
And then he
did a laugh out loud after that.
Then he fed 10 kills to fucking Queen of Pain.
And then Queen of
within
Pain
like
stomped us.
well, within 6 or 7 minutes he had died. He had died
Dude.
more. About 7 minutes he had died more times than there were minutes in the game.
She had a Lincoln Sphere before I had my ult, dude. Like that Queen of Pain was like the scariest.
It
Queen
made me
of Pain.
wonder if he wasn't like intentionally doing it. Yeah, it was bad. She wrecked us.
That Lincoln Sphere built, like, that was so cool. She rushed that out. And then next thing I know, like, I mean, luckily as Troll Warlord, I didn't have to deal with it so much, but, like, I rely on my Ogre Magi, I guess is how it's pronounced.
Sure.
Magi.
Gift of the Magi.
I was relying on him to hit that, Hellfire Blast and stun. And it would just go into the Lincoln Sphere, off into infinitum. Anyway.
Yep. It was
sucked.
painful.
But individual state of affairs. I'm Roland. My party is sitting at like 1814, 1815 right now. My solo is much, much, much lower. I only use my solo ranked to random and to play all hero, which is, I think, a pretty good reflection of what, like, the care I give my solo ranked. I don't give a shit. Like, I try hard on every hero. It's not that, like, I don't give it my all. It's just I need to learn on some heroes, you know what I mean? And I want it to rank me based on my learning curve as well.
It also screws with your team somewhat, though. I mean,
Yeah, and trust me, people have gotten on me many times like that. You know,
I know
you can do
it's.
this. You know
I
you
know.
can do that.
I've been here.
Normal.
I've been here for 33 episodes.
Yeah, this is
telling
30,
you not to do it.
Or 32.
32.
Is it 33?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
32.
Okay.
Yeah, I do it. It's not like, I guess it's kind of selfish. Yeah, I can see like the error in my ways, but like
you say that every time. No, I mean, it is. It's deja vu times 32.
Deja vu times 32
Yeah.
rhymes. Yeah, you know, I'm sorry.
It's bad. It's so bad.
I've been playing my all hero lately.
I know the all hero though is almost just as bad because
no, it's not, because I know it's coming. I can prepare mentally.
No, I know, but you'll be so dead set. Like we were gonna go into that match where you had to play Wraith King, whether they picked up Anti-Mage first pick or not.
Oh yeah.
Whether they picked up, there were.
It's more of a challenge to overcome those boundaries.
No,
it's like one of those pictures that are framed in offices that like. The only way
I
to
wish you would
attain
just get them and pick them, and I also
live.
wish you would get them and pick them in the right order instead of snagging them like as early as possible because you're so afraid somebody will take your all hero challenge.
Yeah, no, I don't want my all hero taken.
It's painful.
It's just an hour where I'm not playing my all hero is the way I look at it. Like I look at this as like maximum efficiency. I'm gonna.
Valve's not like paying you to get the all hero done or anything.
I'm paying me to get my all hero done, and I will have it done by the time next semester start.
Wow.
This one's coming to a close. 2 weeks from today, I'll be done. 2 weeks from today.
I should really start doing homework.
Yeah, I have a whole chapter of mathematics to understand.
No, I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, but that's
so
okay.
I'm sitting at like 1650 on my party because I'm about 170 behind you. We figured earlier.
Yeah, 170.
And then
almost precisely.
Like 1215 or something on my solo.
Yeah. Pretty good reflection, honestly, of what your skill level is. And
Sure. I don't play the solo
really,
as much
their
as you.
elo is just so incredible.
I've got to start playing.
I know it's incredible because the number they assign to you just agrees perfectly with what number I would assign to you.
What absurd notion you have of yourself.
Yes. That I would based on
that
my
you've been
play.
lucky and had 170 points worth of people other than you carry you.
That's not true.
While I'm not around.
Every time you play without me, you lose. Every time you play with me, you win. And that's why you're always going to be constantly behind until you just start playing with me every game. Sure. And maybe, I'll lose a couple.
Yeah.
Catch up. Anyway, let's ask a deviant.
Yeah, let's do.
Ask a deviant.
And welcome everybody to another Ask a Deviant segment. Today's deviant is Ben, better known as Noxville ZA. You can find him on Twitter at Noxville ZA, Noxville ZA, as in Z Alpha.
Yes.
Roland, why don't you give a brief explanation of what we do here with Ask a Deviant?
So Ask a Deviant is a section that we do on our show that we're lucky enough to do. We first got in contact with Brian Petty early on in starting Defense of the Patients. He started a stats house, which you're a part of, Nox, Standard Deviants.
Yeah, I didn't choose the name. It's a work in progress.
It's a good
But we
name.
like it.
I love the personalities. Brian's done a great job at just picking awesome people. We went through some audio difficulties before this, and we got to talk with Nox a little bit more. And you were a very clever man, sir.
Okay, cool, yeah.
He's been a great support. He's been a great sport about all of this. But basically, Ask a Deviant is we come up with these random stats questions, Cyphus and I, and we are lucky enough to have somebody come on our show and explain what they are.
Yeah, and the meaning behind it, because I think a lot of people have similar types of questions, and you might as well ask our first one, because I think Nox has some awesome thoughts about it.
He does. So my first question is, if I get first blood, is my team going to win? And I would love for you to explain correlation and causation with this question. I know that comes into play.
Okay, cool. So, Yeah, you're totally right. Correlation and causation does come in. Like, just because, for example, the per capita consumption of cheese in the US and the number of people who died by getting tangled in their bed sheets has a correlation of 94.7%. That doesn't mean that, like, just because you eat a lot of cheese, you're more likely to become tangled in your bed sheet and die. Like, there's absolutely no correlation between causation between the two, despite the correlation.
Exactly.
So in terms of Dota First Blood, it's not as clear cut as the cheese versus the bed sheets, but it is related in some way, right? So we do expect a team to, like, intuitively, we would think that the team that gets First Blood has got a higher chance of winning. But this is just like if we're thinking about two teams who, like, evenly balanced, the team that gets the First Blood has a slight advantage. A little bit of extra gold early on can lead to a snowball.
Yes.
But it's not as simple as that, because most Dota games are not necessarily between two teams who are of a similar skill level. And for the most part, we don't really have enough data to suggest, like, whether or not there's a significant advantage between getting First Blood and winning the game. Like, there's too many, like, random small variables which altogether don't really add up to something significant. So, like, if, for example, we took a coin and we knew it's a fair coin, 50-50, and we flipped it 20 times in a row, and it was every single time was a head. And now you're someone standing there, you don't necessarily know it's exactly 50-50, you're just observing what's coming out. And you think, okay, well, it's very clear this is a loaded coin, and it's always going to be the same thing. So this is kind of like the black box that we're dealing with in Dota, because we don't necessarily know what the true rates are, like what the true, like, reality is. If you get First Blood, what's your chance of winning? We don't know what those odds that are being rolled in the background are. We can make guesses about them, but we don't. But if we make a guess about one of the factors, we could also be getting, like, crosstalk from the other factors, like a good team versus a bad team. So, like, a very good team might draft differently against a very bad team. They might want to just push and make it easy, in which case First Blood has got a high correlation with winning, just because it's the team that's favored to win that is going for the early aggression. At the same time, a team that's going, they might just be more skilled. So even with two similarly greedy drafts, they might go into a fight, and although on paper the two teams have got absolutely equal heroes in a level 1 fight, the team that's more skilled might win 4-0. So yeah, and also the whole thing about First Blood is there's very, very often a cross kill that comes out of a First Blood if it is a big engagement in the jungle. So First Blood might not mean very much if second and third blood go the other way, right, like at the same time.
And then the other team is winning at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like there's too many factors for you to like get anything of value out. So
you can't just give me, like, if I get First Blood, you're going to win 60% of the time. Like, there's no way we could ever say that. Because it's just too many factors going into it.
But what is the correlational data that is there?
Okay, so the correlational data is not very easily presentable at the moment, like off Data, and I did do some digging around. But of the last 100 games, 61% of the time, the team that got First Blood went on to win.
Wow.
So that you might think is quite high, but at the same time, remember that the vast majority of games are between one very highly favored team versus one big underdog, like at least 65-35.
It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to run like a t-test and see if that was statistically significant.
I would love to do a standard deviation and put some z-scores and like anything we could to get more precise data.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
So that is one thing that I've got planned to add as functionality, is being able to do filtering by elo differences between teams on Dota.
Yes, and that would be incredible. So I guess we're asking questions that we just don't have the technological capability to answer just yet. We can just kind of, spread conjecture and say that 61% of the time I'm going to win if I get First Blood. That's the conjecture I can spread.
Well, I mean, yeah. So, all right, what's our next one?
So we had another question for you. Seeing as the theme of this episode is going to be Dragon Knight related, Feedernoob is
okay.
coming on our show shortly after you, Nox, to present a good Dragon Knight set. And so I had a Dragon Knight question for you, just a very simple one. What's his win rate overall, Dragon Knight?
Okay, well, in 6.82, right?
Yes, 6.82.
Okay, so 6.82, we've seen not as much Dragon Knights as we've seen in other patches, so a much smaller sample.
Okay.
And this can skew it a bit. I mean, obviously, if it's only been picked a few times, it's the teams that are more comfortable with it from the previous patch. It's got a pretty high win rate, 55.58. That's,
wow.
I mean, over 62 games, 55.58 is relatively moderate.
Sure.
And yeah, I mean, it's only appeared in 4.6% of the games that he showed up in. And that he's of the drafts in 6.82. He's only showed up 4.6% of the time.
Oh, wow.
So that's a big drop from 6.81. In 6.81, I mean, we used to see a lot of mid DK. I wouldn't say he was top 10, but he was at least considerably like higher than he is right now.
Okay. Was there anything that happened in 6.82 to maybe lower his efficacy?
I don't think it was necessarily. I mean, I think it's more of a metagame shift, like away from him than anything else. He hasn't dropped by a huge amount. I mean, he's went from 8.8% of games down to what did I say? 4.6. So
yeah,
it's just above, just under halving. And yeah, I mean, it's not an irrelevant hero, but I think it's more of like a niche pick at the moment.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, we just love Dragon Knight because his sets are awesome, and I love to take Dragon Knight mid, and I can't wait for him to pop up on my all hero. That's going to be a blast. So yeah, we wanted to theme Dragon Knight. I asked you if you could prepare a random stats question pertaining to Dragon Knight. This is something that Decyphus and I have no previous knowledge on, and I'd love to hear what you came up with, Nox.
Okay. So, of the 62 times, there's the matches have been paused, the ones that can, and the parser which DotP uses doesn't always, sometimes there's just too much movement early on, too many fights, or the hero's moving too much, so it doesn't always allocate a lane. But it allocated a lane for 57 of the games, 57 of the 62 times it was picked.
Nice. Okay.
And yeah, it went mid 52 times. And it went dual mid 4 times.
Wow, dual mid. Who was he going dual mid? Was there a trend?
Yeah, well, there was some. I think it was a Wisp once or twice. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't look at that because the interesting stat is that it's only been dual lane, safe lane once, and that was between Power Rangers and Navi, in which Dendy played it in the safe lane, and they went on to lose.
Oh wow!
So your funny fact is Dragon Knights that run dual lane, safe lane have 100% chance of failing every time,
even when Dendy's playing.
Even when Dendy's in the DK, yeah.
And then. Did you say you had one other stat for us?
I think you already presented it. The cheese and was it the cheese? No?
No. I have lots of. I have a spreadsheet full of random stats.
Well, yeah, give us some more, Nox. This has been fun.
Okay. So professional games so far in 6.82 are on average 6 minutes longer than 6.80 and 6.81. They were almost exactly the same time. They were about 34 minutes a game as the median, and 40 minutes is the 6.82 median.
Wow.
But the games, there's also a lot fewer outliers. So outliers in 6.80 and 6.81 were 2 or 3 times more than in 6.82. So
for our listeners, will you explain outliers?
Okay, so in statistics you get quartiles, which are when you draw a normal when you take ranked data, it represents the quarters of. So the first quartile is defined as the middle number between the smallest number and the median of the data set, and the second quartile is the median of the data, and the third quartile is the median between the middle value between the median and the highest, and as a result you get this thing called interquartile range, which is the difference between the upper and lower quartiles, between quartile 1 and quartile 3. And we get outliers, which are basically more than 1.5 times lower than the first quartile of the interquartile range, or more than 1.5 times higher than the third quartile. So they kind of, it's a statistical definition, but it basically represents games which are, in this case, games which are slightly longer than average. It's a lot more than slightly longer than average, or slightly shorter. So for the most part, we've seen a lot of games that are quite long in 6.80, where the interquartile range was between 5 and 66 minutes. In 6.81, it was between 8 and 69 minutes. And 6.82, it's a little bit larger. It's between 8 and 73 as an interquartile range.
Wow.
But most of the games that are outliers in 6.80 and 6.81 fall way outside of that. So, yeah, fewer like high variance in terms of that. But at the same time, it's slightly longer games than 6.82, 6 minutes longer.
Well, we asked for a stats guy, and instead we got an instruction on some pretty deep statistics.
Yeah,
that is really
that's
interesting
awesome.
to know.
Do you think it probably? It's got to have a lot to do with the major balances from 682. The tower balances, wouldn't you think, would probably really extend it? And then like the gold bounties.
Glyph. Yeah, that extra glyph has got to make the games longer, right?
Oh, I would think.
I mean, it's still correlational, I'd say, but.
I guess the biggest thing is also that there was a short time where there was maybe a few hundred games in 6.82, the alpha version, the first version that came out, and that got patched out within a few days or maybe a week. And in that time, there were like some very, very long games. Maybe it would be interesting to discount those and compare. And 6.82 is maybe just only a few minutes, like 4 minutes longer than 6.81 on average when comparing medians. But what is also interesting is that, like, when you're looking at the top professional matches, as in where both teams have a rating, like in the top few percent, as in an ELO rating above 1200, it stays at about exactly the same average rating. It's average game length of 41 minutes, but it's also like a little bit longer on average. There's fewer walkovers. The interquartile range goes from 13 to 73 minutes, and there's a lot more games that are like almost exactly around 40 minutes. Like the number of games within 33 to 51 is very, very large compared to like against all professional matches. So it kind of shows when you compare it to other matches. Like in the past, in 6.80, even the top matches between two top teams, there were lots of very short games, and that's not true anymore.
That's great. That's incredible stuff.
Nox, it's been so cool. It's awesome to have somebody who knows what the hell they're talking. Like, your shit. I'm going to say that right now. You sound very intelligent. This isn't the first time you're going to hear that, too. I'm sure you've been told a million times you're really smart, and I'm going to tell you again you're really smart. This has been really cool to have you come on and explain to us the things that people aren't thinking about, which is correlational and causational data that is represented within Dota 2.
Yeah,
people want dry numbers.
Yeah, for sure. And I think at lower tiers, you definitely get that kind of interpretation of this is, if I see this win rate here, then that's a hero that wins.
Exactly.
I have a better chance.
Honestly, I was expecting you to just give me a percentage when I said that, the first blood. I was not expecting you to come in here and be like, well, that's correlational. Like, I can't tell you that you're going to win 61% of the time.
That's why we ask a Deviant.
And it's just been really insightful, and it's made me think differently about the stats you have to do, is because you have to take these numbers, but a really good stats guy takes those numbers and interprets them.
And I takes them with a grain of salt.
And takes them with a grain of salt. And Nox, I am very impressed. I am so glad both Cyphus and I got to meet you today. You're from South Africa, which is also really cool.
I don't even know if we mentioned that.
You're from South Africa, Cape Town, right?
Yeah, no pet lions. No pet lions.
No pet lions, huh?
Everyone who's from overseas, when I was young, used to say, hey, so do you have a pet lion? And I'd be like, at some stage, I was like, yes, I have a pet lion. And it just made people stop asking that.
Good. Well,
greatest decision.
This has been the longest Ask a Deviant segment we have ever had, and for a good reason. I'm glad you let our listeners know.
We're stats guys. We're math guys.
But we can't explain it as well as you can. You explained correlational and causational and just some really deep statistics that do need to be accounted for.
Yeah, I hope at the very least it was educational for everybody.
Yeah.
If not outright entertaining.
A
So.
very educational podcast. I loved your correlational data that you brought in with the amount of cheese we consume per capita and how often we die by being rolled up in our sheets. And just to give people an idea of what correlation means.
Yeah, great examples.
Yeah, it was a perfect example.
And if you want to find Nox, you can find him at Noxville ZA. That's NOXVILLE ZA Alpha on Twitter. And of course, you can follow Standard Deviants at STD DEV Stats.
Yes.
And so until next time, thanks Nox for coming on. We appreciate you being here, and we hope to have you back soon.
Cool, man. Thanks. Great show. And I'll be sure to tweet this out to everyone that they must tune into this episode.
Absolutely.
Please do. And let them know that they need to bring out, a piece of paper and a pen and take notes when you're talking.
That's right.
Hey, Nox,
Sure.
thank you so much. That was a blast.
Great. Thanks. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
And that was Noxville ZA.
Damn, dude.
ZA,
and that's
Z
N,
Alpha.
And that's NOX, not
Yes.
KNOX. It's
That's
just
correct.
NOXVILLE.
Yeah.
Z Alpha.
And like we said, from the Standard Deviant Stats House.
Yeah, he was, as you just heard, super intelligent. You could just hear it in his voice that, he just knew what he was talking about and could talk to you about it in great length.
Yeah, and was passionate about it. We're definitely going to have him back.
He got the most statsy.
Well, and he gave us another crazy stat to tweet out.
Yes, he
that
did,
we need to remember to do right
No,
after this.
I have it saved. That we will tweet out. But yeah.
So that'll be your Thanksgiving stats update.
Really awesome guy. Moving on to a really awesome girl in the scene, Feedernoob for Dress.P.
That's right.
Oh yeah, everybody. It's time to dress .p with the one and only Feedernoob.
And welcome back to the show, Feedernoob, for another segment of Dressin.p.
Yes.
And this week, you can find Feedernoob on Twitter at Feedernoob, and you can also find her by her YouTube channel by searching on YouTube for Feedernoob. You're the first thing that pops up every time we go there for that.
But she's famous. I mean,
yeah.
we don't really need to plug her. She should plug us because she's already famous.
I see.
I don't know if I want to be the first hit for feeder, but glad to hear it.
So this week we've got you dressing up Roland's Dragon Knight, even though it's actually
Yes.
my Dragon Knight that's wearing the set right now.
Well, the spirit of your Dragon Knight wearing the set, you could never play him the way I can.
Yeah, sure.
I'm a great Dragon Knight mid. I'm a big fan of him, and you guys luckily get to see this time what it looks like. Feedernoob, you will be making a video of this so people can actually look at the Dragon Knight.
Yes, I think. Words cannot do this thing justice.
No, I
so-
mean that's the thing, and I'm glad
I
you're
feel
making
terrible.
a video.
It's terrible podcasting, but it's really fun for us.
It really is fun for us. I am luckily. I'll paint the picture. I'm in a room, 42-inch screen in front of me, and I'm looking at a DK that would probably, fire breathe all over your face. So it's really exciting. Once again, thank you, Feedernoob, for coming on and doing this. You've outdone yourself.
Especially this
thank
time.
you.
Yes.
Well, let's explain.
Yeah.
Let's
So
explain behind this.
run us through the set.
Sure, so I'm just going to give a little background. First, Dragon Knight has a ton of sets, so you can really personalize yours. The reason I picked these items is kind of I think a guy that turns into a dragon should look like a beast.
Absolutely.
It's sort of the theme here. I picked the biggest sword I could find with the best detailing, which is the Sword of Ascension.
And Roland needs a big sword, I'm not saying
What is that
I'm not
supposed to
saying he's
mean?
compensating or anything.
What
but,
is that supposed to
But a
mean?
big sword, that's what he needs.
I
to
like
make
a big
himself feel
sword
good.
because, the bigger the sword is, the harder it's going to fall on their face.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, it's also detailed. A lot of the other swords are flat. This one is really nicely made,
is.
so it's fancy.
They did a really
Not
good
just
job.
big.
They
I
did a
love
really
that
good
jewel
job.
on the hilt.
Yeah, the jewel on the hilt is cool. And it's just he looks like a knight. Once again, he looks very regal, but badass at the same time. So
Yeah, that's definitely, and that's the Sword of Ascension.
Yes.
And that is definitely the way to go.
And what is this helm he's wearing that's giving him a ponytail?
So it is the same set. This is the Helm of the Ascension set, and I guess this is more regal than badass, but I think when you see it in game, you'll think it's badass too.
Yeah, we were talking briefly before the show, and she said, Feedernoob said that this set looks badass in the preview. Don't get her wrong, but that on the battlefield is where Dragon Knight looks the best.
I can definitely see that. Does that tail or the top of the, what is that called at the top of the helm when you have the horsehair up there?
Horsehair on the top of the helmet
is
what it's called.
Does it move? Does it bounce around, or is it stiff?
I did not check the stiffness of his ponytail.
That's a good thing. That was a test.
It probably doesn't bounce. I can tell you because the items are kind of tied to points on the model of the hero, so it would be hard to make a bouncy ponytail if there wasn't something bouncing.
What
around.
You know how like the
and for you to ever doubt my questions, he's doubted the questions I've asked before, and he's asking if the ponytail's stiff or not.
Hey, I was just wondering, like,
my
sometimes they move, like the fish that Tidehunter carries around.
No,
you
now
know how,
you're
like,
justifying it.
it kind of like wobbles around behind him.
Sure,
you
we
know?
understand.
That's what I'm
That's
talking
a
about.
legit question.
Just the way you worded it, maybe. Maybe just the way you worded it. I don't know.
Feeder's helping me realize how much I hate you right now. I'm glad that she's here.
It's taken you this long.
Yeah,
now.
she's put me in touch with my inner.
It's because you
my inner
found like
hatred.
she's like truly nice. She's truly a good person, and it's the first one we've
Now I
really
can
come
compare black and white.
Now you can
Yeah.
compare black and white, exactly. A truly bad person to a truly good one. Yes.
So let's see what's up next. The crest.
Okay, so this is Crest of the Wormlords, and I squished other things out of the set that I might have included to put this one in because it has a bright, shiny gem that's like on fire, and it's super huge and has gold dragon wings on it and just looks amazing.
And it's on
yeah.
fire. I mean, anything on fire
on
is
fire.
better. Anything on fire is better.
When he stuns somebody by hitting them in the face with that, it just is very satisfying.
He branded them at that point. You are now property of Dragon Knight every time he does that, right? Like, isn't that how it works with cattle? That's how it feels when I'm playing Dragon Knight, that everyone else is just cattle and they're coming to the slaughter of the DK. Yes.
I want to see your win rate now. Wish we would have
My win rate with Dragon Knight? It's 150%. It's a weird thing where I won 2 games at once with him just because I carried so hard. So, yeah. Wow. Okay, let's get on to the... I love that you picked the different form for him. What is this Kindred of the Iron?
Oh, okay. So this is one of the bonus drops from the TI Immortal chests, and it's the only dragon form for Dragon Knight that's different, so you kind of have to have it.
So it's a must-have. And the one, you didn't get that kill. So we're giving one away with a kill on it. Cyphus
right.
did not get that kill on it. I'll just have everybody know that Cyphus is not the one that got the kill. Okay?
All right, fair enough. Yeah,
Fair enough.
Sure.
Well, this week on Dressing .p with Feedernoob, we have a beautiful Dragon Knight, and she has a few more pieces to go through.
Yeah, we got the skirt.
I'm just trying to keep
yeah.
people
I see.
letting
Yeah,
them
no,
know
you
that this
skipped
is what
over
we're
like
doing.
3 items.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I just wanted to talk about the mortal kindred of the iron.
So yeah, tell us about the skirt.
All right, so the skirt, and yeah, it's a skirt, you know. So he's rocking it. It's manly. It's from the Fire Dragon set, and actually the rest of the items are from this set, which is from a Nexon chest. So it's pretty rare.
A Nexon chest. Okay,
yeah.
Nexon is that just what the chest is called?
Nexon is a Korean.
Yes, I know. I
organization.
played Nexus. Nexon owned Nexus. I played Nexus when I was like 12. It was the first MMO I ever played, and it was owned by Nexon.
Okay, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And they were a
They
Korean
did Nexon.
company.
Thanks, Grandpa.
So hey, I just wanted to say, like, wow, I can't believe they had a chest. I was surprised.
Oh, okay.
They've had a lot of items. It's all
Nexon.
promo stuff.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's really cool. Good to know.
And so yeah,
Yeah,
so
it tends to be rare and expensive, so this isn't too bad, but
yeah, that skirt looks pretty good.
And it is manly. It's like what the Scottish wear. You know, it's like what Mel Gibson
kilt?
wore in
A
Braveheart.
kilt.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
sure.
he was a manly man. in Braveheart.
Well, you have to have a skirt on, so you don't get any chafing from the armor.
Exactly. It's fully functional.
On you, we'll call it a slip.
A slip?
Yeah.
Okay, we can call it that. What are these pauldrons?
Okay, so these are the biggest pauldrons for Dragon Knight, as I'm sure you can imagine by looking at them. They have like fiery tips at the end, and basically he looks 3 times as huge with these on.
He does.
So he needs to wear them.
He can't take them off, or else everyone will realize he's a big pussy. Like if he takes those off, they're like, oh, like take them off.
Oh yeah, we took them off.
You put him back. Like I'd fight that guy, but put him back on, Cyphus, and it's like, no, I'm not fighting that guy. He'd kick my ass.
You're right. No, you need broad shoulders.
do.
Everybody knows broad shoulders make a man.
Exactly. Those were a great choice. Maybe my favorite. We need to get a screenshot, Cyphus. Can you do that real quick?
Yeah.
Can you
try.
screenshot without the shoulder plates on to just show how it completes the set? Yeah, I need people to see the difference.
I understand.
He looks like a complete wussy without those on. What a great
He
pick.
really does.
Yeah, he just, I'm Dragon Knight and I'm here to fight in the middle lane. It's like, bah! Get out of the middle lane, you noob. I'm colorblind, Feedernoob. I maybe should have told you that before we signed that contract. But yeah, I'm colorblind. Is that an issue?
There's nothing green, so you should be okay.
Exactly. I can see 700 nanometer waves. I just can't see anything below that.
Oh yeah. No, I like those gauntlets. I like the spike. I like the
It looks awesome. We've done enough. Like, this is so badass. You get to see Feedernoob's video if you're listening to this. She will have made a video. I'm sure. What would be a great descriptor for them to type into YouTube to find this video?
Probably .p Dragon Knight.
.p Dragon Knight video. Okay, type that into YouTube. Make sure you go to the official Feedernoob one. There's several fake Feedernoobs out there that are trying to be as successful as she is.
All those poser noobs.
Yeah, all those. Yeah, some are called poser noobs. But anyway, make sure you go to the official Feedernoob website and see her video on the badass Dragon Knight set she just put our beloved Roland into. I just said that about myself. That felt weird.
It was a little disgusting. So, Feeder, real quick. Feeder, before you go, you are, unfortunately, our listeners won't be able to get there in time to see this because you're doing it shortly after this cast, but you're casting AD2L tonight.
Yep.
And what team is it? It's the playoffs, and then which 2 teams are playing?
It's going to be Gods of Warx and Here Comes the Cobra.
Cool.
I don't think we played either of those, but we would have lost anyway. It's okay.
Yeah, we definitely.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We had no coordination.
Interesting stat:
rough.
we lost against every team there, whether we played them or not.
Yep. That's good. Hey, you should be a stats guy.
I should. All right. Well, thank you very much, Feeder. If you for coming on the show, we appreciate you taking the time to pick the set out for us.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure, guys.
And if you want to find Feedernoob on Twitter, you can find her at Feedernoob.
And more importantly, go to YouTube and watch the video. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
And that was Feedernoob, everybody. You can find her at Feedernoob or by searching Feedernoob on YouTube. It'll take you right to her channel. And check out her casting. If you've got an AD2L ticket, which I think if you've been paying attention to the show and you're on episode 32 with us, you probably have picked up one. And they're 99 cents. They're dirt cheap. You get to watch some really cool amateur Dota. And go watch the playoffs because that's where the best is.
Ticket?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where the playoffs is where you're going to see the best amateur Dota play you can.
Well, yeah. I mean, they had to get through us to get to the playoffs.
That's right.
I mean, they had to 2-0 us to get there. So
I mean, together we have.
You heard our pain throughout this
3K MMR.
This pod blog. Is that such a thing? Did I just coin a term? Pod blog?
I'm sure somebody said it.
Nope. I just said it.
Okay.
There we go.
You can have credit for
pod blog. On this pod blog we've been doing, you've heard our misery with AD2L. I love everybody involved, but that was miserable.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was not fun at all. I'm sorry. I didn't have fun. But what I did have fun was embracing the community and meeting new people, but I didn't have fun getting beat over and over and over. People are better than me at this game.
Yeah,
and that bugs me.
Turns out.
I don't want people to be better than me.
Well, you want to play, and that's why the ranked system does, in the end, work so well. At least we're playing people where we stand a chance.
I like to feel good about myself. And in those 82L matches where we're getting stomped on, I just didn't feel good about myself.
Yeah.
I felt really bad about myself. And those stats are out there floating in some
universe.
So
many the early GGs, too, that season.
I was calling out 18-minute GGs pretty much always. I was like, is everybody okay if I call GG? Because we're definitely not going to win this. And everyone just kind of sat there either silent or, yeah, okay. Or yeah, okay, let's go into the next one, really optimistic. Because Eric Marcuse was always like keeping us up. Like, everything's fine. Like,
Eric is never down. He is always up.
He is like, one of those high on life people.
Yeah, we'll quit this one and then we'll come back and we'll win the next one. We're gonna put a W in the record books.
Exactly. I've never met a high on life person. That's why I thought I'd never say I've met a high on life person. But Eric is that. He really is.
And maybe something else. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know.
Who knows? He does live in California.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Anyway, he was always keeping our moods up, and that's why I was calling out those early GGs. It wasn't to like BM, and we had obviously lost, and they knew that they had won. They just wanted to beat us, and it's less fun for them if they don't get to beat us. But I wasn't allowing them that luxury.
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Oh,
I was saying, you don't get the luxury of taking my inch, and I'll give it to you.
Yeah, sure.
One of those things. And we had lost, and I wanted to mentally prepare us for the next game. I didn't want the previous game that was 40 minutes long that we knew we were losing since minute 5 to fuck our next game.
Yeah. Oh, so the Dragon Knight set.
The Dragon Knight set.
If you want to win I'm sorry, I know you were just heading down the 82L path, but we got to do this so we can wrap up before we run out of time.
Yes.
If you want to win that Dragon Knight set, you got to send us and Feedernoob a tweet, and you tell us the first thing you would say upon putting on the set. That's what we decided.
I'm going to repeat that just to say it twice. If you want to win that kick-ass Dragon Knight set that you saw Feedernoob show off on her YouTube video, or the one that we explain and you can buy everything, it's expensive. If you want to win it, you go ahead and you tweet us at .p_show.
I think
the first thing you would say.
It's not expensive. It's pricier
expensive.
than the Dazzle set. It's
$10.
And it might have been just a little over 10.
Yeah, $10.59 is exactly how much it cost.
At least the set as I bought it.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it's a badass set.
What are you gonna say when you put that armor on?
Yeah.
What is the first thing you exclaim as Dragon Knight upon donning the new Feedernoob picked?
And if you want to see check our Twitter feed if you want to see a photo of it. We sent out one without the shoulder pads as discussed.
Because I could beat that one up. I just couldn't beat the one up with the cool spalders.
Okay.
Sure. Pauldrons. Spalders? What the fuck is that? A pauldron.
A pauldron.
A pauldron.
So yeah, if you want to win it, that's how you do it.
Yep, that's how you do it.
So until next time, we hope that you guys are enjoying your Thanksgiving Day, and that you found a little bit of time on your Thanksgiving Day to listen to us.
Does that even sound like a turkey?
No, not at all.
I'm trying to make it themed. I'm trying to make it a themed episode.
No theme necessary.
No? Okay.
No. We can just do it straight up. Just tell them, hey, happy Thanksgiving.
All right, tell them where they can find us and close it out.
DefenseOfThePatients.com, on Twitter at .p_show. You can find Defense of the Patients on Facebook by searching for us. DefenseOfThePatients@gmail.com. You know all the good stuff. And iTunes, of course, where Roland would love for you guys to go by and leave us a review, so that he doesn't.
I don't even care.
Colon cancer.
I'm gonna do like the hard to get now. Like,
okay.
I don't even care if you do or not. Like, really, it doesn't even affect me.
No, Roland, it won't. He doesn't care. No, don't even do it. Don't even think about doing it. He would be appalled to know that you logged into iTunes to do it. Disgusted, even.
I'm checking if anybody's left a new comment on iTunes.
Oh, no. All right, until next time, this is Cyphus for Roland, Feedernoob, and Nox saying good luck and Godspeed.
Get out of the middle lane, you noob.